One of the last things I want to talk to you about as far as trouble problems that can occur within the baseball swing is too much. Too much top hand, too much bottom hand. Let's start with too much top hand. You'll often see young hitters, and quite frankly old hitters, that want to take that top hand and squeeze the life out of the bat. And what happens when that occurs, even if they have a good solid foundation, they're working to let the ball get deep, is as they come over and as they roll over to the ball, you'll notice that my right hand dominates the swing so much that I'm creating a loop in my swing. As I get here, you'll notice as I rotate over, as I roll my wrist, it's coming over the top. That's what we call too much top hand. Oftentimes you'll see too much bottom hand. That's where that hitter is so relaxed, he's squeezing the tar out of it with his bottom hand. And what happens is, because they lead so much with their front elbow and take their elbow away from the core, is oftentimes you'll hear parents say, "Whew, he really dipped on that one." Well, that's when they're too much of a bottom hand hitter, is that they'll dip and watch my barrel here, they'll plumb bop it. And then they'll lead through with that front elbow. And you'll notice that bottom hand is just a guide hand. And more than likely, I'm assuming nobody wants to coach that swing right there in that weak position. There's no power V there. So when I talk of too much top hand over the top, or too much bottom hand plumb bopping, how do we change that? Well, you've been watching this video, you're finding that you can go up to the wall, you can get back there and make sure that you don't hit over it, making sure your hands stay in the ball. You can do the old belly drill on the wall, where you keep your hands inside the ball. Things that we like to do to make sure that we become two-hand swingers rather than just bottom hand, rather than just top hand, leads to our hands. We'll line those knuckles up. We'll create the three bottom finger squeeze and the top hand two squeeze with the index and thumb. And what we'll try to do, and we'll grab wiffle ball bats. Everybody's probably seen the old 1950 yellow wiffle ball bats. We'll grab a couple of those at your local Target, Walmart, or anywhere else. And what we'll do is we'll ask them to swing at a ball and throw the bat at the ball. And what you'll find is that with that drill, as you throw the bat down to the ball, is that you use both hands. More than likely, because your mind will not allow you to throw the bat around and through with your top hand, or drop it up and throw it up with your bottom hand, that movement of throwing that bat to the ball, and it can be a baseball, a softball, a wiffle ball, doesn't matter. As you throw that bat just down and just throw it right to the guy tossing you, or right to where the pitcher would be with the tosser over to your side, that both hands are being used. That you are not dominating the swing with either hand. Oftentimes there are hitting instructors out there that will isolate bottom hand hitting or top hand hitting. That doesn't mean they're wrong. I teach bottom hand hitting. What I teach is the ability for this top hand to guide over so that it stays in a strong power position. This is not too much top hand. That's too much top hand. This is not too much bottom hand. This is too much bottom hand, because now I'm pulling it through and around and taking my power, my trigger, around my core, off my core. Now, what else can you do to help yourself in regards to how do I become a two-hand swinger within the concepts of what you're trying to teach within the swing? If you've ever played hockey, you'll find that hockey sticks are a little different than a baseball bat. They're basically a square, okay? If you grab that hockey stick, your hands go right to this position where your knuckles are lined up, okay? In a bat, you can club it because your hands can rotate around the bat. If you'll notice, when I go around the bat or I club hand it, my wrist will start rotating around the bat, which puts me in a weak, not a very powerful position. If I do get to load my wrist, this is called a wrist road, within the trigger of our arm, is what happens is as I put my hand on, you'll oftentimes see somebody come over the top. All right? And now, rather than load their wrist, they're around the bat again. If you can line those knuckles up, what you'll find is your mind will allow your hands to work in unison to create good wrists. Scouts, coaches, they all want to see good wrists within a swing. And that doesn't mean too much bottom or too much top, which could mean this or this. What you're looking for is that whip of the bat. How do we get there? By lining those knuckles up, what we've called knocking knuckles, the second digit on your fingers, and lining them up, and just by human nature alone, it's going to allow you to create that natural movement down and through the ball, allowing you to swing with both hands, even though in my style of hitting, I want that bottom hand to go around our core, but I can't take the top hand off. Another drill that you can use, and one that we find with the younger guys better than the older guys, is this: we'll take a basketball, and or a weighted medicine ball, and we'll put it in our hands and throw it 4 feet out in front of us, trying to hit a dot on the floor. We'll just take a marker or a grease board marker that comes wiping up, or a piece of tape, put it 4 feet out in front of us, and we'll throw it right to the ground with that ball. If you dominate with the right hand, it's going to come off. You dominate with the left hand, it's going to come off. If you're dominating with both hands, right to the dot. Remember, too much is not a good thing. You want to be a two-hand swinger, even though you're going to come across top hand techniques, bottom hand techniques. You never ever want to make sure one dominates the other so much that you're creating bad habits. Take these drills, identify these problems, identify your mechanics within your swing so that you become a better softball and baseball hitter. Good luck, and don't stop working hard.